All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so 12 questions about starting a YouTube business channel. We are talking about a business channel here and not just any regular YouTube channel. So, wherever it is that you're watching from, please post in the chat. Let us know where you are. Have you ever considered launching a YouTube business channel? If so, what is stopping you? Why haven't you started? Did you know that in 2025, today, that you could actually build a business around a YouTube platform that could surpass your income from your normal job? Gone are the days where YouTube used to be a platform that people used to promote their business. YouTube is no longer just a marketing tool. It is in my personal, honest opinion, it's the platform for entrepreneurs. You can actually build a six-figure YouTube business channel right from where you are, from Nigeria, if you're watching this, from the village, from the city, it doesn't matter. You could build a successful YouTube channel. As Nigerians, we have a story to tell. It's just part of our culture. We have a strong story driven fan base. You can build a YouTube business channel. And today I'm going to answer 12 questions about how you could build a YouTube channel, a YouTube business channel today from right where you are. So my relationship with YouTube dates back to 2004. So I graduated film school, Cal State University, Northridge in 2004. And back then, as a film grad, you only had two ways that you could actually get your work seen. So the majority of us back then, we only wanted to do two things. We wanted to either make films or we wanted to make television shows. So is it the motion pictures or TV shows? In my case, I just wanted to be a commercials director. That was what I went to film school for, was to be a commercials director and also a music video director. If you look on YouTube, like just Google like Rich and Barricade, like I have things dating back 17 years ago. I used to make I used to shoot, edit, and direct music videos for local artists in Los Angeles. And I also used to help small businesses promote their business on YouTube. So I would reach out to small businesses, get with the owner, go to their establishment, interview the owner, create some B-roll footage, and then I will help them post the content on YouTube and also help them optimize um, their content for discovery so people can find out their business. So that was how I earned a living fresh out of high school. It was at the emergence of the digital space. At that time, Instagram didn't exist, LinkedIn didn't exist. It was MySpace. That was actually the first platform that I started on, was MySpace. For you guys who know MySpace, I think I was like member number 57,000 on MySpace. So my relationship and experience with digital platforms goes all the way back to MySpace. And then after that, I got on YouTube as a film major, creating content for local businesses. I was very early with the SEO, just helping them optimize. They didn't know what the word optimization was at the time. That's like early Rich and Barricade. It's on my content. I think this is probably like my fourth or fifth YouTube channel. So if you go and search Rich and Barricade on YouTube, you'll see some of my old stuff. Some of it I'm embarrassed by, and others is like, it is what it is. But if you were looking, so today, fast forward, YouTube is a business for us. Initially started off as just a platform to promote my investment holdings. And now YouTube is now becoming a standalone business in and of itself for the Barricade brand. So if you've been thinking about starting a YouTube channel, this is for you. I'm going to answer some questions and I'm going to share with you some practical tips that I've been able to use over, wow, this is 2025, over 21 years, because I started using YouTube in 2004, on and off since 2004. So I'm going to, I've shared some of the opportunities with you. Really consider YouTube. I've been on other platforms. I don't really, and I've created content for other platforms as well, like Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. I don't really like those platforms. They're just not for me. Yes, and Barricade has a presence on those platforms. But for us, our long-term platform and our long-term partner is YouTube. Because with YouTube, you could share revenue. I mean, there are people out there making $30 million a year just exclusively on YouTube. They give up all other platforms and they are focusing on YouTube. So before I get into the questions, my advice and my recommendation for you, choose a platform, just one. Obviously, you're on this platform to learn about YouTube, and I'm hoping that this is the platform that you're going to make. Like, seriously, I had to give up. If you notice, for those who have been following me now, my activities on Meta, that is Facebook and Instagram, has been minimized. It's been that way now for about a couple of months. LinkedIn, I'm not as active on it like I was. I have like 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. But when I look at our future as a business and I look at where we want to be content wise and as a maybe one day a media brand, YouTube is the platform for us. And also tying my experience in filmmaking, composition, content production, digital production, YouTube is just a seamless fit for what we are trying to do. Some people may have luck on other platforms like Instagram. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are people out there that are making money and making a business out of their Instagram account. But YouTube blows them all out of the water. And if this is something that you've been thinking about, I'm telling you, if you have a story to tell and you have a beating heart, YouTube is the platform to tell that story. It's one of the only things that you could do at any age. You could be a successful 90-year-old YouTuber. You could be a successful 80-year-old YouTuber in a farm somewhere in Nigeria, somewhere in China, somewhere in India, for those who are watching from other parts of the world. YouTube is definitely the place to be. It's one of the best platforms for Nigerians abroad to share their story, create content, and build a business. So I'm going to share with you, hopefully at the end of this 12 questions, you can avoid some of the pitfalls and the mistakes that I had on very early on in my YouTube career. And start. So let's go ahead and get straight into the questions. And if you want to post your question in the chat, you are more than welcome to do so, and I will happily answer them uh, on this session in this session. So the first question on starting a YouTube business channel: what niche should I choose? Question number one: what niche should I choose? The best way to answer that is literally look in the mirror. You are the niche. Create content that aligns with who you are. Don't follow some of these vanity niches where people will say, oh, talk about finance, talk about agriculture, talk about exports, talk about stocks. It doesn't work like that. You are the niche. You're the only person that's unique to you. There is no one else like you. So create content for yourself. Build your YouTube business channel around your passions, because you're not always going to be stagnant. As you evolve and as you grow, your content evolves and grows with you. So if you are, I'm going to give you an example. So if you are watching this and you are a medical student in med school, looking at building a YouTube business channel, create content around that. How did you get into med school? What are the subjects that I've taught? What are the subjects that you've taken? How did you choose to be a med school student and not an attorney? Create content based around your values as a person. So every day that you wake up, and remember what I said, you are going to evolve naturally. So just create content based around that evolution as a person. If you're in medical school and you also enjoy fishing, create content around that. If you're in medical school, you enjoy traveling, you see, people are going to gravitate towards you. So the mistake that most people try to make is they follow trends. That is one of the worst things you could do as you're starting to build out your YouTube business channel, is to follow trends. Create content that are in alignment to who you are as a person. Whatever your goals are, build content around your goals, your expertise, your niche. That is your niche. You wake up in the morning, you look at yourself in the mirror, build content for you. What kind of content do you want to see? What are you passionate about? Build a business around that. If you're in real estate, it could be about that. If it's diasporal living, it could be about that. And I'll give you an example. So primarily, we are in exports, we are in securities, we are in real estate. That's where our investment holdings are. But I am also a naturalized US citizen. I'm originally from Nigeria. So I also create content around my culture. I create content around my childhood, because it's boring just sitting there creating content all day about export real estate and securities. That's stocks and index funds. So I create content around my travels. And ideally, people who are interested in my core business investments. I create content for diasporas. Traveling to Nigeria, doing business in Nigeria. I talk about those. I also talk about certain issues that I'm passionate about. But at the very, very core, I essentially create what I enjoy. And I'm basically, every time I make a video, I'm showing who I am, what I like, what I don't like. And in the midst of that, I'm able to use my content to also educate, spotlight, inform, advise based on my experience. See, the older you get, so I'm 47 years old, obviously, a 27-year-old person is not going to have the same life experiences that a 47-year-old person has. You know what I mean? So I'm able to share some of my life experiences through my content. Just hoping that somebody somewhere is going to find some information that they've been looking for or some value in it. So you're not going to be everything to everybody. Just create the content based on what you love. Create it around your lifestyle. If you love technology, build content around that. If you want to review products, build a business channel around that. Okay. So that's the first answering the first question, as in what niche should I choose? Look in the mirror and you'll see your niche. You'll have your answer right there just by looking in the mirror. That's your niche. Question number 2, do I need expensive equipment to start? That's an easy question to answer. You do not. You could start with the equipment that you currently have. If you have an iPhone, you could use that. If you have an Android, you could use that. Or perhaps you have a mirrorless camera or DSL camera. Anything that you currently own that shoots video and audio, that is the equipment that you are going to need at the very beginning. But here's one thing that I want you to at least invest in, and that's audio. It is not expensive. I'm going to show you an example of a microphone that you can buy on Amazon. This is a simple $15 microphone. It comes in a pair. Uh-oh, this one is, the top is missing. So it comes in a pair. It's $15. It's a microphone, wireless microphone, and a transmitter for $15 that you can buy on Amazon. And you can attach, I'm no longer using that anymore because now I've upgraded to the Yeti. And I'm going to explain this microphone in a second. So the transmitter goes in the bottom of your phone here. You plug it in, and then you go in and basically just turn on the microphone, and it's automatic plug and play. That is all you need to start, a $15 microphone. And as you feel more and more comfortable with being on camera and speaking, you can then upgrade to something just a little bit better. Now, in my case, I am using an $80 Yeti. There are others out there that are using the Shure microphone, SHURE. That's a mic that's very popular with podcasters. So a Shure microphone is about $350, $400. Could I go right now and invest in a Shure mic? Yes, but do I need it? No. Because the $80 Yeti mic that I'm currently using is sufficient. There's no need for me to go out there and upgrade to something that's 3 times the price. When this one, I'm talking about at the moment, I just don't see any need to. because I do more of, at least these days, I do more of like a talking head, more like talking head content where I'm just speaking into the wire, into the microphone. When I travel, in my travels, I get more of like real world produced content, but I burn through those very fast, and I still shoot them all on my iPhone. See this cracked? See this phone here? It's like iPhone 16 or so. That is all of the equipment that you're going to need. Now, you may be wondering, what am I using to shoot this particular session? I invested in an iMac. I purchased this a few months ago for like $1,500. And I am literally using the FaceTime camera on the iMac, the desktop iMac right now. That's what I'm using. When I travel to Nigeria and I want to shoot content out there, I'm going to use the FaceTime camera on my laptop or just use my phone. That's really all you need to get started. Don't go out there and invest in a super expensive camera. Hardware isn't going to, you may have better quality content, but it doesn't necessarily, as far as like visuals goes, but it doesn't necessarily help with your messaging. So the key is just to refine, get comfortable. And here's another thing I should probably say. There is no such thing like being 100% comfortable in front of the camera. You just get better at it with time. You get more confident with time. 20 something years of experience in content creation, throw in film school experience, you're talking about almost 30 years of experience. I still get nervous every time I turn on the camera. So anyone that sits there and tells you that you're just gonna, everything is gonna be fine, you're gonna be comfortable in front of the camera, everyone gets jitters. I still do, but I just keep on pushing forward. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my strategy and at least what has helped me out a little bit as we move on with the session. So, to answer that question, you do not need expensive equipment. You can start with your phone. You can start with natural lighting. I am in my office and I have like ambient style lighting that you would see at, like, let's say a cigar lounge or a nice speakeasy. You see, that's the kind of mood that I'm going for here in my studio. Some may just have a regular lamp with just a regular light bulb. Or perhaps you prefer sitting outside in just natural sunlight. You want to shoot during the day, you want to shoot at night. None of that matters. You can always upgrade later, but at the very, very beginning, use the equipment that you have, and then you can always upgrade down the line. So that's my advice and an answer to that second question of, do you need expensive equipment? The answer is no, at least not at the beginning. Question number 3, how long should my first videos be? If you are building a business channel, remember that's what we're doing here. We're not just building just a YouTube channel. We are building a YouTube business channel. The advice that I'm going to give you is start very early on creating long form content. By long form content, I'm talking about anything over 10 minutes long. Your metric should be over 10 minutes. That was one thing that I wish I had picked up on earlier, because there was a time that I was doing shorts, 3 minute shorts, sometimes 6-second shorts. You see, That's for people that's looking for views and they're looking for likes. They're looking for followership. You see, you're not looking for that as a business channel. What you're looking for is retention and watch time hours. I'm taking off my shoes because it's a little uncomfortable. How you get retention is through long form content. Because that's somebody that's watching a 6-second clip doesn't really have the retention. There's no retention there to be able to sustain and build a business, a YouTube business channel. So what you want is to get into the habit of creating long form content. At the very minimum, nothing less than 10 minutes. Perhaps you want to do 15 minutes, maybe 15 minutes to 30 minutes of content. And you could structure this however you want. You could script it out if you want to. In some cases, I have scripts. In other cases, I speak more directly just based on my experience. And then in some cases, I combine them both. So you want to start at the very beginning building your long form business assets. Because remember, YouTube content is evergreen. Unlike other platforms that disappear and get buried with time, your content lives forever on YouTube. You could create content today and generate an income on that content for the rest of your life. That is called an evergreen content. There are some cases that I watch content that's 10, 15 years old. Whoever created that, if they're monetized, they're sharing the advertising revenue that shows up, that they're sharing. When ads run on that content, YouTube splits the ad revenue with the content producer. So you got to look at your library as assets, as business assets. So that is what I would recommend. Now, in my case, I've been doing live content now for a while. I would probably say for about 8, 9, 10 months. I've been doing live long form content. It's because I just got tired of editing. I don't want to sit there and watch myself over and over again, cutting pieces out, fine tuning it, making my content look produced. That's the reason why I stopped creating those sort of content and started going live. So I think the longest live content that I have done so far was about 2 hours and 35, 2 hours and 40 minutes long. It was like last week. But it took me time to get there. And that is just my strategy. What I would advise you to do is actually create live content, to be quite honest with you. So let's say you have an hour or 2 hours of live content. There are certain clips you could actually go in and clip those out in different topics. That's because so much information could get lost easily when you're creating live content, and you're not even going to know what they are until you go back and you replay or you rewatch that content that you created. And some of the clips that you may have may not even be related to that content. Like in my content, I tend to veer off sometimes and tell a story. I have a very strong story-driven like narrative about my content. I mean, 47 years, I've traveled all over the world. I've lived in many places. I've lived a life that most people in their lifetime wouldn't live in 47 years. So sometimes I tend to, when something triggers a story or triggers a memory, I tend to divert away from the subject matter and share that story. You see, that story in and of itself is something that you can clip in a long form. You see, now those clips can now be under 10 minutes if you want them to be. But always aim, do your very best to get very early on in the habit of creating long form content. It's all about discipline. When you set your mind to, all right, I'm not going to do anything less than 10 minutes. It's going to shape the subject matter. It's going to shape how you position that content. It's going to shape your decision making. And with time and experience, remember, you were never ever going to get 100% comfortable in front of the camera. And I know that there are people with different strategies or different hacks on. There are no hacks. Like right now, as I'm talking to you, it appears that I'm speaking to you directly, but I am just looking at that little tiny, tiny hole on my on my MacBook Pro. That's what I'm speaking into. So that tiny black hole on my on my computer is basically you. So I'm looking straight at it right now and I'm talking to it. In some cases, I'm gonna look to the left because I have a 50-inch television right here that I use as reference. Occasionally I'll glance at it. And what I'm looking for when I'm like, for instance, I'm looking at myself right now on the 50-inch screen TV. What I'm looking for is framing. How does the framing look? Because that screen is what my audience sees. How does my hat look? Do I have hair on my chin? Do I have random stuff on my jacket? What looks out of place? How am I wearing my hat? How's my posture? And then I turn back around, I'm looking at you. Like, how is my posture? I'm looking at this because I am not, and occasionally I will glance at myself on the screen here. If you see my head down, it's just me looking. Basically, what I'm seeing on my 50-inch screen TV is what I'm seeing in this little box here. And I'm looking at it. Same thing. If I have to, I'll make a little bit of adjustment. Okay, if I want to show more of, let's say, the Bearcat logo, I'll tilt it up. You see that little what is it? So this is the headphones that I use when I'm flying, when I'm practicing for my private pilot's license. That's it. Private pilot's license. That's the headphones that I use. So I'm kind of looking at this, and again, it took me a little bit of time to actually set all of this up. So when I'm looking at that, when I'm looking at the screen, I'm seeing what the viewers are seeing. And it's my choice. Do I want to look at my MacBook, my iMac, or do I want to look at the 50-inch camera? Or I can tilt it down a little bit. Okay. So how long should your first videos be? It shouldn't even be a matter of your first videos. It's just like your content, aim for long form content. And you also want to use each of your video, just make it long enough to where you can talk about your subject matter, but also long enough to where you can teach somebody a thing or two, inform them about certain things that's happening in your field. I'm going to go back to the example again of if you're in medical school, like how did you get into medical school? What was your study pattern like? Just make sure that in everything that you are doing, you are at least teaching one or two things. Teach one. I'm not saying go out there and be a preacher and be an educator. You can entertain, you can inform, and you could also teach with your content. So at the end of that content, if they stay long enough, they would have gained value. Now, some people are out there, they're just entertainers. They're really not in the business of teaching anything. They just want to entertain. If you're an entertainer, you could do that. I consider myself more of a business person. If I'm entertaining in my content, it's usually by accident. Nothing wrong with entertainment content, My kids watch a lot of entertainment and they watch them over and over and over again. But I create the kind of content that I want to see because I also consume content. There are other YouTube channels that I follow, there are other podcasters that I follow. When I'm watching their content, I'm not watching to be entertained. I am watching to learn. I am watching to gain information. I am watching to see if there's something that I might be missing. So that is what you want to consider and think about as you create your content. Entertainment should be by accident. My recommendation is create something that informs, something that teaches, something that educates, and maybe something that inspires. And then if entertainment just happens to fall in there, then that's just a bonus. Okay, so that's question number 3. Question number 4, how often should I post? It's not about the how often. It should just be about a structure based on your time. If your time permits, if you can only post content once a month, then create a structure. Building a YouTube business is about having routine. So when I was in corporate America, when I was working full time in corporate America, I mean, you're talking about 12 hours a day. I would work 12 hours a day or work 14 hours a day sometimes. And then I would still find time to just post because I'm passionate about YouTube. I enjoy doing it. Now that I am full time at America Adventures, this is my business, this is what we do full time. Now I have a little bit more structure and a little bit more liberty to be able to post when I want, when I want. And now, because we are approaching the end of the year, we've shut down manufacturing in Nigeria, we've shut down exports in Nigeria. Now I basically have time on my hands to be able to catch up on content creation. And I'm using this time because I'm flying to Nigeria very soon, like right after the holidays, I'm going to Nigeria. That is when we kickstart 2026. So you're probably going to be seeing less content from me at, let's say, Q1, Q2, Q3 of 2023, and then it picks up again in Q4, because Q4 is really when we sit down and we wrap everything up. We've shut down our business. Now we are focusing on sales for the holidays. Welcome in, welcome in. But you need to post when you can, because YouTube is about activity. If you want to build a YouTube business, it's about activity. You don't want to post today, November, and then not post again until March. You're not going to be able to retain an audience that way. So some people are going to say, post 1 video a week, post 2 videos per week, post daily. Post when you want to. Post what feels comfortable to you. Like, look, in recent days, I've been posting a lot of content because I just have a lot of content to share. And I don't want them to be buried or forgotten. So that's why you're seeing me. I'm posting a lot more now. Sometimes I'll post 4 times a day. Like today, this is my second live session today, because it's a slow week. Thanksgiving week. 2 days it'll be Thanksgiving. My wife, my family, they have a 2-day week today. So my girls are only going to school today and tomorrow. And then Wednesday, they're off for 5 days. Kate is only going to work today and tomorrow. And then starting on Wednesday, she's off for 5 days. Post when you feel comfortable. The volume doesn't matter. If anything, just post what you have. It's better for you to share your content and put it out live than for you to keep it locked up in a vault. So that is why you're starting to see more volume from me, because I just have built a library of content for my lives that I'm chopping up into clips. So as far as like how often, just post what you can when your time permits. But the most important thing is without overwhelming yourself. So don't kill yourself because you're trying to get content out there. Just post what you have, okay? When you want to. But keep some sort of consistency though. If you don't want to post once a month, that's fine. If you want to post every 2 months, that's fine. But keep some sort of consistency. And remember, you want to start getting early on, you want to start getting into long form content. And the best way to actually do that, and I'm going to answer that on the next question, which is what type of content grows fastest? You see, all content grows fast. It just depends on what you're optimizing for. Now, if you're out there just looking for likes and followership and views, you could do shorts, meaning it could be as short as 2 seconds, but I think the max is like 3 minutes on shorts. It just really depends on what you're optimizing for. You see, at Embericat, with our business, with our YouTube business, we are more long form content. That is why you see me creating live content. It's not easy creating live content. It's not. It's actually easier creating produced content that you have to go and edit out your mistakes, and you want to say something else comes out. Some people do that, some people like that, but listen, for me, it is what it is. What you see is what you get. So for me, live is what's growing the fastest for me because I'm optimizing for the retention. I want people to stay on my videos long enough to make sense for the advertising, because you can't really advertise on a 6-second short clip. But if you have a 1 or 2 hour long form content, to be quite honest with you, long form live content is what YouTube is pushing these days, because people get to interact with you. The retention is a lot longer, but you can still integrate shorts and short form, but you just gotta have a primary. And right now, for me, from Bearcat, our primary is live content. If I can do, I mean, right now I'm squeezing in 2 lives. At least I want to this rest of the week. I'm gonna try and squeeze in 2 lives a day. But it's not always gonna be like this, just because I have just a little bit more time right now. And as soon as I'm done with this live session, I've got some business tasks that I got to do, because I got to get some items out to Amazon that we've sold out. So uh it's not about the content that grows fastest, is the content that what is it that you're optimizing for a business channel. You want to do live content. Don't use produced content as a crutch. Go with live content. Make your mistakes. There are times that I've gone on to do live and the microphone doesn't work. And I have maybe 5 or 6 people waiting. And I got to shut it off. And then when I come back, they're all gone. These things are going to happen. The days that the microphone works and functions properly, just start speaking into it. There are times that I want to say something on live and I just freeze. I'll just turn it off, get my bearings, and come right back on. If live content were easy, more people will be doing it. So I can say that I'm getting better at producing live content for our business channel, but it took me a while to get here. And I'm still making mistakes. And I'm still going to make mistakes in the future. But at least at the end, for instance, at the end of this video that I'm shooting, answering these 12 questions, one or two people are going to be able to look back and say they learned something from it and they gain value from it. Okay. So you want to create content that, like I said, it's educational, it informs, it teaches, it inspires. And then if some entertainment kind of slips in there, I suppose that's okay. So yes, there is no one true content that grows faster than others. It's just what you are optimizing for is going to decide the kind of content that you put out. So for us, we could technically say that what is growing the fastest from Bearcat has been live content, which is what I'm doing right now. Okay. So question number 6, how do I overcome camera shyness? You don't overcome camera shyness. You just get used to it. Okay. So at least what I would advise is just be as prepared as you could be. That is all I'm going to say. Be as prepared as you could be. Obviously, take a shower, look presentable, look like you're talking to a respectable audience. At least you got to give your audience that respect. Some days I wear a jacket, some days I wear a t-shirt, but I try to be as prepared as possible. That is the best way. And again, I'm not generally a shy person just by nature. I consider myself a very social person. If I were to go out today in the midst of, let's say, 50 strangers, I'm that guy that will go up to each and every one of them, introduce myself, ask them what their name is, ask them what they do for a living. It's ask Kate, my wife. It's always that's me. I'm not in people's faces. I don't invade people's private spaces, but I think I lost my shyness when I joined the military at 18. That's when shyness went out the window. But you're not me. So the way that I will probably say you could overcome shyness is just keep recording, keep talking, keep sharing what you know, keep on educating people. Anything that you feel that might be useful to your audience, just talk about it. And it's not so much about your shyness going away as it is your confidence rising. So I wouldn't say that I am confident in front of the camera. I'm just going to say that I can say that I'm comfortable in front of the camera. It has nothing to do with confidence or shyness. I'm just comfortable. Some days I would get on, and then when I'm done with my live session, I'm like, damn, what was that? Like, I'm critical of myself. And then when I go back to watch, I'm like, oh, well, that's not too bad. But that's just me being hard on myself. So overcoming camera shyness is just face your fear. So one of the things that they taught us in the military is you always want to run towards the ambush. And what do I mean by that? So if you're on patrol or you're on a mission and then you're ambushed, naturally people tend to flee. They tend to run away. But we were taught to actually face the ambush. So if somebody's ambushing you and shooting let's say someone is shooting from me, you want to turn and shoot back. You don't want to run away. So the same thing, like the military training that I've been fortunate to have applies to my business holdings. You overcome shyness by facing it. How best to do that? By facing it on live camera. Think about that for a second. I'm not generally a shy person. I'm actually a very private person. If you guys see me talking to you, I am a super private person. Ask Kate. The only time that she actually begs me to leave the house, go out and make friends, go out and get out of here. I'm just comfortable. I don't need all that. But when I am out in the world or I'm out in social circles, I am still relatively private, but I'm just comfortable. Like there's really no place that you could put me that I would be nervous. It's not because I'm special or because I'm better than people. It's just because I have been through more in life and I tend to just appreciate everything around me. Like I am able to find comfort in any discomfort. That's why I'm able to go to the village and feel so comfortable and relaxed in the village that many Nigerians are afraid to go to. Or traveling to Nigeria, I just feel comfortable. It's not because I'm confident, it's just I trust myself. I trust my decision making. I trust my movements. I trust the small circle that I have around me. Okay. So, with time, as you continue to do this, you're just gonna be more, you're just gonna get to a point where you're just more comfortable. Shyness goes away, confidence goes away. You're just comfortable in front of the camera like I am. And I'm telling you guys, you're going to make mistakes, but you just gotta keep on going. Just face the ambush. Just keep telling yourself, I'm gonna face the ambush, face the ambush. The best way to overcome camera shyness, face the camera. Okay. So let's go on to the next one. What's the fastest way to get to 1,000 subscribers? So, in order for you to monetize YouTube as a business, you have to have a minimum of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So, the fastest way to get there is create the kind of content that you want to see. Produce the kind of information that you want from others. If there's a problem out there that you've solved before, talk about that. Talk about those solutions. People are on YouTube to 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 look for solutions. They're also on YouTube to be entertained because you're not going to find any of this in traditional media. That is why YouTube is the best place for you to build a business. Build a business around problems that you've solved or you've seen others solve. Build a business. You could build a business around some of the decisions that you've made that solve the problem, real world problems. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular. It could just be basic problems. You could build content around that. Look for certain pain points. If you've solved the problem, talk about how you went about it. That is how you gain. Like the people that I've followed, I mean, put it this way, it's not every channel that I subscribe to. Actually, some of the most channels that I follow quite regularly, I'm not even a subscriber. Same thing with Mberiket. Most of our audiences are not subscribers. So, but I want you to be a subscriber. So if you're watching this and you like what I'm saying so far, kindly subscribe so you can get notified when I post content. But that is how you grow as a problem solver or a channel. And again, you don't want to take yourself too seriously. Always talking about business is boring or can be boring. You also want to share a part of your life. Like if you notice in some of my content, I share my family. Obviously, you can see them behind me. I'm not hiding my family. I share my wins. I share my losses. There are some channels out there that don't share their losses. It's just win, 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 win. Everything is about winning, winning, winning. No, I take L's. I've lost money. I've been scammed. I've been duped. I've also recovered. So when people are able to relate to you in that way, don't be, I'm not saying reveal private personal information about your life. Maybe uh, anything sensitive, but on my channel, I've talked about the relationship with my dad. I've talked about the relationship with my mom. I've talked about my upbringing. I've talked about my childhood. I've talked about the struggles that I've had growing up. I've talked about my struggles as an entrepreneur. I've talked about my wins and my losses. And I'm always going to share my wins and losses, because you don't want to give your audience a false sense of, and I think that's the flaw. That's kind of like and that's why I don't really do social media, because on social media, people always show you what they want you to see. You're not getting the full picture. I'm not saying that with Baraket's YouTube channel, you're getting the full picture of my life and my business activities, but you're getting at least 90% of it. From projects, misses, and hits. Anything shy of, I've talked about most things. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to reveal my address and where I live or anything like that, but at the end of the day, I'm still a human being. I'm going to have some wins and I'm going to have some losses, but with experience, my wins actually far outweighs my losses. But it's still good for you to share. So if you're on this channels, you're watching all of these people that are telling you, when you look at them, everything is always polished. They're always winning. They're not losing. They're always winning. Then you know that that is not the pathway you want to follow. Share your wins, share your losses, share your insecurities. That is how you build subscribers. That is how you build an audience. When I look at some of my videos, I've said things where I'm like, oh man, I meant to say days, but years came out or months came out. And, oh, okay, it is what it is. I'm not intentional about it. It just came out. It's live. I can't go and edit it out. So you just want to be professional. You also want to be authentic to the audience that you're creating content for. And you also want to open up to being asked certain things. That's why I like doing the live content, because when people ask me questions live, I can respond in real time as I'm speaking, as opposed to, and then even after my content, when people still write to me or comment on my videos, I still make time to respond to those comments. So it does take a lot of effort, but the difference is I enjoy it though. I can't tell you, I enjoy you. I can't stand Instagram. I cannot stand Facebook. I can't stand LinkedIn. I don't even have a TikTok account. I'm actually minimizing my social media presence. My wife, Kate, posts more about my family on social media than I do. Occasionally, I would post, but I'm not a social media guy, guys. People might think that I'm just not. I don't like social media, but I love YouTube because it's the platform that I go to get all of the information that I need to run a successful business. YouTube is, and then additionally to that, I read business publications, the Wall Street Journal, to educate myself on business. There are certain people whose work I respect. I follow them. But I'm not really in this for likes. And I don't want to be popular. I don't want to be famous. I just want to be rich and Barakat. You know what I mean? So I'm not chasing any of that stuff. I'm 100% fulfilled. I have a loving family. I have a great business. I get to come and go as I want to. I get to do my own thing. What more do I want? I'm not interested in likes and followers and all that stuff. Hopefully, hopefully, I'm building a business. I'm building a YouTube business. That is like the primary focus. If likes and followers come with it, that's just a bonus. But that's not really that's not what I'm chasing. I'm building a library of content that helps people today, tomorrow, and beyond. That is my mission and that's my goal. All right. So, question number 8, do I need to show my face? No, you do not need to show your face. There are content creators out there that have never shown their faces in their content. I don't know. I mean, why does Rich and Barakat show the face? I guess because I want you to see the face and the voice behind the brand. That's why. I'm not showing the face because I want to get more women or no. I mean, I'm happy. I'm fulfilled. So you don't have to show your face. If you want to show your face, it's a good thing, but showing your face is not what's going to determine if your YouTube business channel is going to be successful. Having a unique voice with all of your flaws and all of your mistakes, and then working towards personal and professional improvement, that is what makes a successful channel in my own right. And as you guys can see, I don't really have guests. That's why I'm telling you that. Doing live, being a one-man show is difficult because I don't have a guest to lean on. So you see a lot of these YouTube channels with those guys they're just hosts. Because the people who tune into that YouTube channel is tuning in for the guest and not for them. So I guess another model that you could consider is, do you want to be like me? Meaning, well, I'm not saying be like me, but my model. It's like I'm the one that's speaking. I feel like people are tuning into my mind to see what I'm tapped into, to see what I'm thinking, to see my thoughts on certain things. And I'm not sitting up there having a live guest interviewing somebody. Nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like if it falls in my lap, yes, but I'm not going out there trying to book guests. So that's another thing. And plus, at any given time, I can put out content. At any given time. I don't have to wait to schedule somebody. Or you schedule somebody and then they call you and tell you they can do the program. You know what I mean? So you just have to find what works for you. And look, if I have to make a recommendation, is start with just yourself. Be a thought leader. People are coming into your channel for your mind, for your viewpoints. When you start relying on guests very early on in your YouTube business journey, it can be dangerous. Plus, I also share some of our construction projects back home. But that is just my model. That is what works for me. It's what I feel comfortable with. I'm not saying going the route of the guest route is an issue. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just a lot easier because you have people to fill in the gaps when you bring in a guest. When you're the one doing all the talking, it takes a lot of discipline for you to be able to do a 1 hour show or 2.5 hour show by yourself. But as you build your business channel, you're gonna have your audience. They'll be asking questions. You can kind of use that, answering their questions, obviously, with honesty, ethically, helps kind of build you as well. But depending on guest booking, at the very early stage is not something that I would advise. Build yourself first. Okay. So, what else? What else? What else? Question number 9. How important are thumbnails and titles? I go back and forth on that. There are people who their thumbnails is really nothing special. It's just a photograph of themselves. And then there are those who put content on their thumbnail, like I do. If you look at some of my old content, actually, some of the content that has generated the most watch hours for me, I didn't do anything to the thumbnail. It was just me talking. But I guess to refine it and kind of beautify and polish up my videos a bit, I've been really kind of editing thumbnails a lot more. But I don't really think it matters. The most important thing is if you have content that helps people, that people can relate to, that's going to do the majority of the heavy lifting for you. But I'm not saying don't put effort into your thumbnail. You can still put effort into your thumbnail, but content is emperor. Thumbnail is king, content is emperor. Focus more on the content. Your titles as well. I am moving away from long titles now. Now I'm starting to shorten my titles a bit. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I don't want you to have to just read forever. Just pick a few points, a few words on the title, and just decide if you want to watch the video or don't want to watch the video. So I feel like shorter titles perform better than longer titles. Okay. So, question number 10. Should I pick quantity or quality? Because you are just starting out, focus on quantity. Focus on volume. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Some people they're trying to get the quality perfect. That is subjective. Focus on volume. Like I said, if you go back and watch some of my older videos, they weren't polished. Cameras was all over the place. I'm in weird backgrounds. Didn't have a microphone, a professional microphone. I was just doing my thing. But you want to put out a lot of content. Like in our case, we have over 600 videos. There are other channels out there that are actually more successful than ours with less videos than we do. But my goal is to continue to build a huge library of content, long form content. Now, because I've been doing this for quite some time, I can then blend both quantity and quality in what I do. Obviously, I'm speaking into an $80 microphone. That is an upgrade from a $15 microphone. But there are others out there they have a $40,000 setup. So this whole quality thing is subjective. Just as long as people can look, this camera, this is just a regular 720p FaceTime HD camera from an iMac. It's not the black camera. It's not the Canon mirrorless. It's just a regular, basic FaceTime camera that I'm using to speak to you. I am just more focused on quantity. Even after doing this for on and off for 20 something years, I just want to put out content. Because if I want to sit here and be focusing on quality all day long, I'll be editing. I'll have a $40,000 setup like some people. Quality is is subjective. Just create what you want. Put out as much quality. Put out as much quality content as you can. Okay. Question number 11. We're almost done. How do I stand out in a crowded niche? Be yourself. And there is no such thing as a crowded niche. There is no such thing as a crowded niche. There's something for everybody on YouTube. You see, there are no gatekeepers on YouTube. So it's impossible for it to be for there to be a crowded niche, because you have unique experiences that there's only one Rich and Bearcat. So my experiences will be different from yours. So your point of view is what makes you unique. What you've been through in life, your successes and your failures are what makes you unique. So throw away that thought of there being a crowded niche on YouTube. It does not exist. And if you want to talk to some of like these YouTube channel gurus out there, they'll give you all sorts of hacks. They will give you all sorts of cheat codes. Cheat codes don't work. Be yourself. Talk about your passion. Create long form content. I mean, you need a framework, though. You see, a framework is not a cheat code. A framework is not a hack. And your framework is something that can only be unique to you, because only I can bring a perspective, because nobody talks like me, nobody looks like me, no one has gone through what I've been through. So I am my own unique self. So there is no such thing as a niche. You understand what I mean? So there's no such thing as a crowded niche. Use your stories. You see, when I was talking about that framework, storytelling is part of the Rich and Bearcat framework. Why? Because I went to film school. That's where I got my bachelor's degrees in film. I studied storytelling for 4 years, screenwriting. It's not something that I force into my content. It's just something that happens naturally. If I am going a certain way and it triggers a story in my past, a story that only I know, I'm going to share it. Okay? So that is that. There's no such thing as a crowded niche. Just be your unique self through your content. Question number 12. This is the last question, and we are going to wrap it up. And I'm going to get to your comments there. So what if people criticize me? And so what? Look, people have criticized me through my videos. I'm not expecting everybody to agree with what I say. I'm not expecting everybody to agree with my point of view. But it's part of it. It comes with the territory. Here's the thing. They add to your watch time. So it's not as if I'm inviting criticism. You see, on my channel, I don't do anything for clicks. If there's certain issues that I want to talk about, I talk about it. I'm not about being controversial. I don't like controversy, but it doesn't mean that I have to be. It doesn't mean that if there's certain things that I feel strongly about commenting on, like the Nnamdi Kanu thing, I'll just go in and I'll talk about it from a neutral perspective. Okay, the Nnamdi Kanu thing is not, it's not generally the kind of content that I cover, but I just felt that with that trial, like I said, if you go back and look at my Nnamdi Kanu video, the closest thing that I could think of, excuse me, let me just put this on silent. The closest thing that I could think of on that was close enough to the Nnamdi Kanu trial was the Ogoni 4 trial in 1996. 21 years ago. Okay. That is a once in a generation affair. So I don't think that the Nigerian population is going to see another Nnamdi Kanu style trial for at least another 20 years. So that was what was fascinating about it. Plus, I ignored it for so long. And then I just wanted to learn more about the charges and I formed my own conclusion based on what happened. So yes, some people may criticize for that, but I don't care. I don't care. They don't, it doesn't bother me a bit. So, but expect that if you have a thin skin and if you take things seriously, building a YouTube business channel might be a little bit more difficult. But if you look at your criticisms as just a driver for you, like they are part of your advertising revenue. Like people criticize you, guess what? They are on your platform watching you. You're not watching them. So accept the criticism. It's going to happen. Obviously, ignore the negativity. And I've always said this, guys, you do not have to attend every fight that you are invited to. Like there are sometimes people post certain things on YouTube on my channel that I don't really agree with. I just ignore it. I don't respond to it. I don't add oxygen to it. I just leave it alone. Just know though that you are in control. You are in control. You can choose to ignore, you could choose to delete, or you could choose to respond to criticisms. Okay. So that is it. Again, what is stopping you guys? Start your YouTube business channel today. Remember, you want to treat it like a business. You are building a business channel. You are not just building just any regular YouTube channel. So hopefully, go back, watch these questions, listen carefully to my answers. Okay. And I hope that it's helped you a bit to at least gain an understanding of how we are able at America Adventures to build a successful business channel with 16,000 subscribers and growing. And join me in getting this to 100,000 subscribers. I think we can do that by summer of next year, by summer of 2026. Yeah, so that's it. It's kind of what I wanted to share. And if you're watching this for the first time, I'm a Nigerian-born, US-based entrepreneur. This person keeps calling me. I'm based in Las Vegas, Nevada, United States. Thank you for your time. CJ, as always, just joined. Are you looking for help with anything in Lagos over the next few months, errands, etc.? No, I have an employee in Lagos that does all of that for me. She's very good. She's been with me now for 5 years. She handles all of my errands. She's actually my export manager. Everything that I need in Lagos is done through her. How long does editing take? Well, it depends on how long the video takes, and it depends if you are. I mean, what do you want in your editing? Do you have transitions? Do you have? I can actually answer this because it's part of going to film school. It kind of depends though on what do you have B-roll? Do you want to do special effects? Or for instance, in my case, I'm going to talk a little bit about like my editing. So for instance, this video is an hour and 18 minutes long. Let's say I want to clip a certain part to maybe 20 minutes. I'll just trim the front and trim the back and that's it. And I'll publish. But if I want to add certain elements to it, like visual effects and B-roll, it could take a lot longer. And I've also seen situations where you could have like when I used to do commercials back in the day, like 30-second commercial could take me all day to edit, depending on what I'm trying to put in. So it just kind of all depends on you, CJ. You show the business logo in some way, and you show the business logo in some way. Anyway, hey, you can message me. You can DM me privately, and maybe I could share more on that because I don't quite understand what you mean by that. You are comfortable in your own skin. I am 100% comfortable in my own skin. Again, it's not about confidence, guys. It's just, and that's another thing too. You don't want to be so confident to where it appears as if you're cocky. just be confident. I mean, not become, just be comfortable with what you do. Say your truth, say what you know, and let the universe determine the rest. These are great lessons for your kids to 100%. That's the goal too. It's like, hopefully one day they'll go back and watch. It's like I'm archiving. That's why I titled this playlist Rich and Barakat Archives. I want to be able to look back at this one day, 10, 20 years from now, see how far I've come with my content, and also my kids and my grandkids. You see, now I'm archived now. I can't say this for my dad or my grandfather or my great grandfather. I can't go back and watch content about them or learn about their stories and their journeys. So this kind of like, in a way, it's like therapeutic, because we know that YouTube is not going anywhere. We know it's going to be around for a long time. And we don't know where we're going to be as a business in 10, 20 years from now. But it'd be nice to actually come back occasionally, just relax and just watch some archive content on the Barakat YouTube channel. Okay. Thank you, guys. Hope that's helped. CJ, as always, thank you for your time. And hey, be sure to like, share, and comment if you find this informative and insightful. And also, please consider subscribing to the channel and spread the good word. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm going to be putting out, tune in tomorrow, because I'm doing another, I'm going to try at least put 2 more in tomorrow. But just be on the lookout. I will post the topic later on today. It's 1:22 p.m. right now, Las Vegas time. I want to talk about, though, let me see. I have a list of what I want to talk about. I want to talk about agricultural exports. I actually want to answer 12 questions on agro exports in Nigeria. Let's make that tomorrow's content. Guys, agricultural exports is a mess. Nigeria is in trouble. Nigerian non-oil exports is in trouble. I don't know what it's going to take for us to get out of it. We are in trouble. Our leaders may not want to address this matter, but agricultural exports in Nigeria, let's talk about this in tomorrow's live session. I will schedule it maybe for 10 a.m. tomorrow or 12 a.m. tomorrow, but we are definitely going to talk about agro exports in Nigeria in a 12-question format tomorrow, November 25. See you guys. I'm telling you, CJ, let's talk about this tomorrow, CJ. I'll schedule it. Just be on the lookout for it. We'll do a deep dive into it tomorrow. But I'm telling you, anyone that's sitting up there in Nigeria championing the fact that Nigeria is doing non-oil export, they don't know a damn thing. They don't know, and they're not honest with you. Agro exports in Nigeria is in deep, deep trouble. We'll talk about it tomorrow's podcast.